Good morning, students. Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous video, we have learned about the image formation by the plane mirror. But now, it's very important you to know about the lateral inversion. So, whenever you are standing in front of the mirror, as shown in the figure also, as shown in the screen also. So, why this concept is called a lateral inversion, we will study about this, means reversed. So, it is the phenomenon where left appears right and right appears left in case of the plane mirror. So, when you standing in front of the mirror, the boy has, as shown in the screen, it is pointing on the left hand, but it on the mirror it is appear as a right hand. So how does this happen? So do you think you get this type of image? You don't. You don't get this type of image. It doesn't happen. So that is why the reversal of the mirror image left and right as compared to the object viewed by us. This is known as lateral inversion. So this type of image formation happens. So let's look at this example which make you understand more easily. So if you have a board on which it is written light, and if you place it in the front of mirror, so it comes like this, which is very much interesting. You see that it reads it in the reverse way. So this also this is the also concept of the lateral inversion. Okay, now you might ask that how this happen, how does this happen? So it happens on a very simple concept, and you know that concept. That concept is nothing but the what we learned in the previous video, that image distance is always equal to the object distance. In case of the plane mirror also, the distance of the object from the mirror will be equal to the image from the mirror. So when you have light written, so the image formation happens. When the image formation happens, that this is the distance of t from the mirror, so the image will also happen at the same distance of the mirror. So L is at this much distance from the mirror, so the image formation will be also at this much distance from the mirror. So based on this concept, the reverse of images takes place, because not even L, each part of the L, if you look at this if you look at G, H, T, so at each and every places, at each and every point of an object for which image is formed, it follows this property that the distance of an object from the mirror is equals to the distance of the image from the mirror. So based on this concept, this entire lateral inversion takes place. Okay. So now we are going to learn something more interesting. Now, have you ever observed the rear back view of the car? So if you look at the rear back view of the mirror of the car, you are able to get a view of your back side. Okay. So with the mirror, with such a small size, in that mirror you are able to see the complete entire image of a car. A car is such a big in size, but still we got a small image here. How is it possible? It is possible only when a diminished image is formed. Only when an image which is smaller in size than the object is being formed. Only in that case we will be able to see the image of the object. Right? So there exist different types of mirror here. The size of the image is either smaller than the object or larger than the object. And because of this beautiful topic of this mirror, we find that a variety of application which we use. If you have ever visited to the dentist place, you will see that there is a glass like substance by which they observe your teeth, examination of your teeth. So if you say that something is there, so they are able to see everything clearly, because with this glass or with this mirror they are able to see the magnified or a bigger image of the same teeth, which helps them to diagnose it more easily. So that's way there is a couple of application of these type of mirror, and these type of mirror which produce images are smaller in size or maybe are larger in size. So they all fall in the category of. So we were talking about the plane mirror, but now we are talking about the spherical mirror. Because in the plane mirror, the image is of the same size. But in the spherical mirror, it might be small and it may be large also. So let us see what is a spherical mirror. So how do we define a spherical mirror? So the spherical define itself. Look at this mirror. Okay, it is in the form of a big sphere. You can look at this picture. So it is a part of reflective surface. You can imagine a big sphere or a big ball which is completely reflective, which is like a mirror. It is not a plane mirror, but it is a mirror which is in the shape of sphere. So if you cut the part of this sphere, you got this type of mirror. You look at this mirror. You see that this is like a cut from a sphere, only this part. Similarly, if you look at this mirror, this is also like a part of a big sphere. So these are all example of a spherical mirror. So we called as a part of a big sphere where the entire sphere is a reflective surface. Okay. So if you cut any part of this sphere, what you will see, you will get an inner and outer surface of this sphere. So this is how it could be. So in this mirror, in which those mirror in which the outer surface is not reflective, that is concave. As you can see here, this is the reflecting surface. So this is the shiny surface. So whenever you have this like a hair like structure, that is a non-shiny surface. So the inner surface is the shiny. So that kind of mirror is called a concave mirror. So it is like this. If the inner surface, like this is the inner and that is outer. So wherever the inner surface is shiny, that is a concave. Cave means which goes inside. Okay, and outer surface, the outer surface is shiny. If it is shiny, then it is a convex mirror. So here in this case, you can see that the outer surface is shiny. So this is a convex mirror. In this case, the inner surface is shiny. So this is a concave mirror. So that's how we can differentiate between the two types of mirror. The most common example of this is spherical mirror is you can think of a spoon. So how does a spoon look like? This is how a spoon looks like. So you have an outer surface, you have an inner surface. You actually have concave and convex mirror in a spoon. That's how that's how the spherical mirror are. So that is the best example if you can think of if it comes to the spherical mirror. So let us perform a simple experiment to see how images are formed by the spherical mirror. So you can see a couple of pictures have been shown where using the same spoon. So this is the back side of the spoon. The back side is the outer surface. So the back side is act as a convex mirror. So you see that the image formed is erect. Erect means straight image. Now when you look at the front side, so that is a concave mirror. So in this you see the inverted image. Inverted head part is at the bottom. Inverted image is being formed. So this itself shows that the two sides of the spoon gives us different type of images, because the two sides of the spoon are the two different types of mirrors. Okay, again if you bring the object very close to the concave surface, that is the front surface, you see that the image is like erect. So here also it is a one, so both of this like a concave surface of the spoon. So we have been learned more about the image formation of both concave and convex and concave, but I am trying to show you that the different types of spherical mirror give different types of images. Okay, So now let us talk about the image formation by a spherical mirror. So in plane mirror you have already see that basically the point where the reflected rays meet, that is where the image is formed. So the concept remain the same even in the spherical mirror also. Here also the rays originating from a point actually meet at another point after reflection. So the point where the rays are originating is the object, and where it is meet or appear to meet after reflection is nothing but a image. So as I said, when the rays actually meet, the image form is real, and if really it do not meet or appear to meet, then the image form that is formed would be the virtual image. Now this is something different from the plane mirror, because in plane mirror you see that there is a virtual image form, but in case of a concave or a convex mirror, that is not the case. For convex mirror also virtual image are formed, so that is one similarity between them. But in convex the image size is smaller, as you can see in the screen. But when you talk about concave mirror, so you see this is the object, here the image size is smaller. But when you talk about concave mirror, on concave mirror also virtual images form, but they are enlarged in size. They are quite big in size, and in some cases they form images which is real images. So that's why you see this is the object, this is the image. You see the image is formed on the same side as that of the object, so you really do not see these images on the other side of the mirror. In order to see this image you need to be here, only then you will be able to see this image. So image is formed on the same side of the object, and it is also inverted and enlarged. So with concave mirror you get both real as well as virtual image. With convex mirror you always get virtual images but smaller in size, and with plane mirror you always get virtual images which are same in size as that of a object. So these are the variety of images that are formed by the different types of mirror. So let us quickly have a comparison between concave and a convex mirror. Now the concave mirror and the convex mirror, they have some uniqueness in itself. So concave is often known as converging mirror. You know why? Because if the beam of parallel rays of light fall on the mirror, as you can see here, parallel rays of light, when it fall on a mirror after reflection, all of them appear to meet at one point. So that is concave mirror always tries to bring together the reflected rays. So they always converge the reflected rays. So that is why it is called converging mirror. But when you look at the convex mirror, you see that it is in this case the rays of light fall on the mirror, and after reflection they tend to diverge. They tend to move away from the mirror. So that is why convex mirror is also known as diverging mirror. So this is something very important also, because based on this, the basic property of concave and convex mirror, they have a different purpose also. Okay, we're gonna talk about the basic terminologies related to spherical mirror. So pole is the center of the reflecting surface. It is here, and it is denoted by capital P. Now the second is center of curvature. Curvature is nothing but this curve. Center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part. Now while defining the spherical mirror, I told you that all the spherical mirror are nothing but a part of some sphere. So let's say this is also a part of this sphere. So the center of this sphere was this. So here I'm not drawing like appropriately, but if you actually draw the sphere appropriate, so the center of that sphere is known as center of curvature, and it is normally denoted by capital C. Then you have one of the most important thing, that is principal focus, or which is often called as focus. So it is denoted by F. So focus is that point which is located midway between the center of curvature and the pole. So it is a point on the principal axis. What is principal axis? This central line which is passing through the center of curvature and pole. This central line is known as principal axis. And that point on the principal axis where the rays of light incident on the mirror parallel to the principal axis converge or appear to converge. So basically, mathematically, this principal focus is located midway between the center of curvature and the pole, just in between the two. And this is also the point where the rays of light meet. Okay, that is the speciality of the principal focus, that both concave and convex mirror, the rays of light actually meet at this principal focus, and in case of convex mirror, the rays of light diverge but they appear to meet at principal focus. So this principal focus is very important for spherical mirror. So if you look at the principal focus of both concave and convex mirror, it is like this. It is in the case of concave mirror, here you see it is actually meet at F. Okay, and in case of convex mirror, this is the point where they appear to meet. So this is going to be your principal focus. And here in case of concave and convex. Okay. So let us now look at the image formation by concave mirror in detail. So we will see how different type of images are formed by a concave mirror. So just to remind you, what is concave? Cave means something which goes inside. So inside surface is going to be the mirror. Here. Cave means inside surface is a shining surface. So let's say this is your concave mirror and this is this is your concave mirror. As you can see here, this is your concave mirror and this is your object and this is the image. Now you might ask that why are you seeing the image here? But because what kind of image is formed here? If you see that the object is also on this side of the mirror, the image is also formed on the same side. So that's the speciality here. So since the object and the image both are formed on the same side of the mirror, we can actually get this image on the screen. So basically you can try in your home or in your laboratory when we will come to school. I will do this with you. I will do this experiment in the school also. Okay, so if you put on the screen on the same side of the mirror, the screen would be anything. It could be a piece of cloth or a sheet of paper or a white board also. So you see that the image here, it would be diminished, that is smaller in size and the object. So if you see here, images are smaller and the image is also inverted. Okay, now we will start seeing the magic of the concave mirror, you know, when we start changing the position of the object. So now what we have done is, what we do is we try to change the distance of an object from the mirror. So for that, what you can do, you can either change or either move the object from one position to another, or you can also change the position of the screen. So as you move the screen also, effectively the distance between the image from the mirror also changes, which in turn changes the object distance also from the mirror. Entire calculation changes. We are not getting into the calculation at this level, but what I am trying to show you that as the position changes, the type of image form is also changes. So here we observe that the object is brought even more close to the mirror. The image is still inverted, but now the image of the same size as that of the object. And do you know what is this position of the object? Now at this point of time, I already gave you a brief introduction of different terms related to the spherical mirror. So you spoke about the center of curvature. You remember C? So center of curvature is the center of the sphere from which the mirror is being derived. So when this object is located at center of curvature of this mirror, so the center of curvature is it is when you see from backside, this it has some center of curvature. It will be somewhere here, and when the object is placed at center of curvature, at that time the image which is formed, it is of the same size but it is inverted. Now what we do, we try to bring the object even more closer, and gradually we see that now we are getting an enlarged image. So instead of same size, the image is magnified. Image is bigger than the object. And if we even try to bring it very close to the mirror, let's say if you bring the object extremely close to the mirror, what do you observe? Now you do not see the screen here. You know why? Because in this case the object is on this side and the image is on the another side of the mirror. So in this case this is the mirror, so object is inside and image is also this side, so both are on the same side, so you will be able to get the image on the screen. But when the image is formed on the other side of the mirror, like how it happened, we stand in front of the dressing table, we do not get the we get the image of ours on the screen. When the object is brought very close to the mirror, so the erect image is formed. However, you are not able to see the entire image. That's because the image is highly magnified and large. You only would able to see the some part of the object. So what would you observe? We observe that with concave mirror, with the same object, you get enlarged image, you get diminished image, you get the image of the same size of the object, you get inverted image, you can get erect image, and all these changes with the position of an object from the mirror. So basically these are very simple experiment. These are just observation. So if you have a concave mirror near you, you can try these with yourself, okay, which help you to know, okay, that's the beauty of a spherical mirror, because of this property, the spherical mirror are used in wide variety of application. Okay, so as you go to your senior classes, you will study about these things but in more detail. So let's have a quick review of the image formed by the concave mirror. So here I have made this list. You can copy this list in your notebook also, where object location is there, image location is there, and what type of image is formed, and what is the size of image. So when you go to the senior classes, you can actually calculate the C and see the place where this image formed, but right now it is not required. Right now we just discuss it. So when the object is very far away, then the image is formed at F, that is principal focus. Image is real and inverted, and it is smaller in size. Diminished means smaller in size. If the object is at beyond C, okay, then image location is between C and F. The center of curvature and focus, the image form is real and inverted, and the image size is diminished. At C, the image location is also at C. The image nature is real and inverted, and the image size is same size. So between C and F, it is beyond C, real and inverted, and enlarged. Okay. So finally, when we reach between focus and pole, when an object is somewhere behind the mirror, then the image formation will be virtual and erect, and it is very large. So this is the overall view of how different images are formed in concave mirror when the objects is located at different places. So in the similar way, let us look at the image formation by a convex mirror. So now in convex mirror, what happened? It is a diverging mirror. So in this case, we observe that always an erect and diminished image are formed, irrespective of its location. So you can try it out on your home. Even if you keep changing the position of an object, take it to infinity, bring it very close to the mirror, every time you see the erect image and every time you see the diminished image, means which is smaller in size. Can you tell me what kind of image is this? Real or virtual? Of course virtual, because the image is formed on the another side of the mirror. So this is a virtual image. So basically, the convex mirror is used in all those places where we need a diminished image. So wherever we need a smaller image, an image which is smaller in size as that of the object. So there we will use convex mirror, because for convex mirror it doesn't matter where the object is located, every time it will give an erect and diminished image. So now can you guess what kind of spherical mirror is used in the rear view mirror of your car? Because it gives the view of the entire scene at the background. So if the huge truck is standing it behind your car, you would be able to see the entire truck in a small mirror. How you able to see it? Because that diminished image is being formed in the mirror. So I am pretty sure that you must have able to guess what kind of mirror is present in your car. So this is how you need to learn. Now try to observe different types of mirrors which you see around yourself, and by observing the type of images which are used by those mirror, you can guess what kind of mirror it is. So basically, we can review the image formation by convex mirror. We see that whenever the object is at where it doesn't matter where it is located, whether it is infinity or anywhere between the pole and infinity, whether at the center of curvature or focus or between focus, it doesn't matter wherever it is located. Every time the image would be virtual and erect, and every time would be the image would be diminished. Okay, you can write down in your notebook. So we say that if the object is quite near, even then the image is diminished, but comparatively less diminished. But every time you will get a diminished, virtual and erect image with the convex. So now that we have seen both the convex and concave mirror, now we will see how can we use the spherical mirrors. So this is the shaving mirror. What kind of images formed by the shaving mirror? So while a person shave, he used to see his enlarged image, okay, so that he can get the shave in a better way. So which type of mirror it is? Of course, it is a concave mirror, because in case of convex mirror, always diminished images are formed. Let's look at the next example where you see a torch. So the light coming out of the torch, what kind of light comes out of it? What kind of mirror inside the torch? Obviously, here also the type of mirror which is present inside is again a concave mirror. Why a concave mirror? Because a concave mirror act as a converging mirror. So you basically inside a torch you have a mirror, and again you also have a lens inside a torch. So all of these combination together, they help to spread the light in a way it spreads. Okay, again if you talk about the rear view mirror of your car, what kind of mirror is this? It is nothing but a convex mirror, because it gives an erect image. It is also give in diminished image, which is the characteristic of convex mirror. Think of the dentist mirror. Okay, what kind of mirror the dentist use, by which they can actually look at the mirror. By which they can actually look at your teeth. Of course, that is nothing but a concave mirror. Again, you talk about the vehicle headlight, the headlight of your car or the headlight of any other vehicle. So there also it is a concave mirror, because it focuses light on the small area. Here also you use concave mirror. Think of this street light. So what kind of mirror is there in the street light? There you have a convex mirror. Do you know why? Because convex is a diverging mirror. So it diverges light. So it spreads light. So these are the various application of different types of spherical mirror based upon what kind of image is formed. And you see they are extremely useful. So now we will talk about another important thing. Now, have you ever observed that your grandparents or any other elderly person, or have you observed me also? In fact, these days a lot of people wear spectacles. The glasses which are present in the spectacles so if you have look at the glass of the spectacles, it doesn't look like a mirror. Then what it is? So think of another example. You have a magnifying glass. which often the astrologer use while looking at your hand, while looking at your palm, which is often used to magnify the object. So there also you will see that the both side are glass. So again, that is also not a mirror. Then what it is? So these are nothing but the lens. So it is a lens and not the mirror. Now you will learn about more about lens, because lens is another important thing which made appropriate use of the properties of light. And you will see that the way we have different types of mirrors, similarly we have a different types of lenses as well, and these lenses help us to achieve a lot of purpose. So here we will spend some time in order to understand the lens. So basically your granny's spectacles, they are made up of lens and not mirror. Similarly, I have also wear a spectacle that also made up of lens. Magnifying glass also made up of lens. So image formation happens not only through mirror, but it also happens through the lenses. That's what we will study now. So what is a lens? It is a transparent optical medium bounded by two surfaces, at least one being spherical. So like in case of mirror, you have just one surface which is smooth and shiny where reflection happen, but here instead of one you have two surfaces. So when you look at the lens of your spectacles, this is the best place where you can get an idea how the lens feels to be. So on both sides you will see that there are two different surfaces. It is not a one surface, and out of these two surfaces one has to be spherical. So this is how the lens actually is. It is like a magnified version of the lens. So can you see here that the bulging at the middle, and it is like a kind of thinner towards the end. So this is a type of lens. It is not always necessary that the both the surface are. I will give you some example. For example, let's say if the one surface could be concave, the other surface could be plane. The one surface could be concave, the other surface could also be concave, and one is convex and the other also convex. So there are basically different type of lenses there. Where have a quick look on this. Bi means two. Both the surfaces are convex. Both the surfaces are concave. That is called biconcave. Similarly, here the outer surface is here. So biconvex, biconcave. Now you have a plano convex where one side is plane and other side is convex, and you can also have a plano concave where one side is plane and other side is concave. So these are the various combination of lenses, and they give different images. So when we talk about types of lenses, again just like mirror, there are two types of lenses, that is convex lens and a concave lens. Now one very important thing that I would like to tell you is, you will observe one interesting thing, that the behavior of the convex lens to a large extent is similar to that of concave mirror. So just name are reversed, concave mirror and convex lens. They have a lot of similarity because both of them are the converging mirrors and converging lens respectively. Let's talk about convex lens. Which one is convex? Anything which is thicker at the middle than the edges. You see, it is thick at the middle and thin at the edges. So this is a convex lens, and it is just the reverse in case of concave lens. Now otherwise also you can see that here you have the convex surface, that is the outer surface, and here it is just the reverse again. So these are the two types of lenses that we will be talking about. Now the way we have discussed about the image formation with different type of mirrors, similarly we are going to do the same for the lenses. So let's first talk about the convex lens. So convex lens is also a converging lens. You remember, this is true for concave mirror. So with light pass through it after now with lens, in case of mirror, reflection happen, the light rays get reflected, but in case of lenses, so when you talk about mirror, we talk about bouncing back of light, that is reflection. And when we talk about lenses, we talk about refraction. We talk about refraction, another phenomena that is called refraction. Okay, so it is something which is you will be learning in your higher classes, but just for your information, this is not bouncing back of light, rather than bending of light as it enters from one medium to another. So here, as you can see, the medium is air, and here the medium is water, and here it is air. So as the light, so that is known as refraction. So whenever you talk about lenses, we talk about refraction. So here it convex lens, we see that the rays after refraction, they all meet at particular point. So that is the converge, they meet at a point, that is why it is called converging lens. And it is just the opposite of in case of concave lens, because after refraction they all move away from each other, so they get scattered, they diverge. So that is why concave lens is a diverging lens. However, these diverging refracted rays appear to be meet at a point, which is this point. Okay, it is nothing but the principal focus of the respective lenses. So let us now talk about the image formation by convex lens. The way we discussed about the mirror, now we talk about lens. Now remember one thing, that the image formed by the lens can be seen from the side opposite to that of the object. So when you have the object here, so this is the lens and you get to see the image here. So you actually need to see through the lens in order to view the image. So in case of convex lens, you see that image formation is going to be similar to that of concave mirror. So you see as you bring the object nearer to the mirror, what happened? The size of the images keeps increasing. However, the image is still inverted. Now when you bring the object more near to the mirror, you see that the image becomes all the more enlarged. And finally, the object is very close to the mirror. You actually get to see a highly enlarged image, but in this case it is also erect. So you see that this is the where the object it is, and you have the mirror. You have to be on the other side of the mirror, so of the lens, sorry, to view the image. So I hope it is clear. This is the object. In front of the object is the lens, and then on the lens itself you can see the image like this. This shows that in case of convex lens, the image is formed can be of variety of types. So in case of lens, you have two focus. Lens is nothing but a combination of two mirrors. So this surface will have one focus. This surface will have another focus somewhere here. So that is why they have been named as F1 and F2. So please do not get confused with that. Wherever we use F1, but it is a center of curvature C1. Similarly, where you have F2, that is nothing but a C2 of the second surface. So that's how the looking at this, it should be pretty much clear to you now. Now let us look at the look at the image formation by concave lens. So in a concave lens, we always find the erect images, diminished images, and these are virtually images. That's why we get to see the other side of the lens. That's one speciality of the concave lens. So these are the image formation by concave lens. So every time, just like the convex mirror, you see that the diminished image or virtual and erect images are formed. It is just if the object is very anyways, wherever the object is located, the image will always be smaller in size than the object. So now let us look at some of the interesting thing. If I give you this example of magnifying glass, what do you think? Which lens is this? Now can you answer this question? So looking at this image, what do you think? What kind of images form? An enlarged image form? Okay. So do you think that you will ever be able to get the enlarged image with a concave lens? Because concave lens always produces diminished image. So this is nothing but a convex lens. If I ask you what is the color of sunlight, you say white light, but it is not a white light, but it is composed of 7 different colors. Okay. I'll make you believe this. We will do a simple experiment to show that how the white light of sunlight is actually made up of 7 different colors. And you know what are these 7 different colors? It is Vibgyor. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. And that form the Vibgyor. So these are the 7 different colors which together form the white sunlight. Looking at this picture, it gives you a better idea. So when white sunlight is passed through this prism, what is seen is it gets split into 7 different colors. The same color which I mentioned right now. Violet, indigo, blue, green, orange, yellow and red. It is not clear to you. Let me make it more focused. So that means this color are present within the white light, and that is why you could see them when the light is passed through the prism. Okay. So what is a rainbow? It is also nothing but all these colors which form a pattern on the sky. You might ask, how is the rainbow formed? Have you ever observed that rainbow normally is formed after the rainfall? Now what happened after the rainfall is, in that atmosphere a lot of raindrops remain, and each of this raindrop, they act as a lenses. So they act as a spherical glass surfaces through which the refraction of light takes place. Now as we have not discussed refraction in detail, so you will not be able to understand the process exactly, but due to that phenomenon only, the rainbow is formed when the white sunlight gets split into 7 constituent color. And this process where the white light split into 7 different color is known as dispersion of light. So the term which is given for this is a splitting of light into its constituent color, dispersion of light. The pattern of color obtained, that is known as spectrum. So we call these 7 different colors as spectrum. Now I'll tell you an interesting thing, that because a lot of people think that that means if we mix all these color, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red, so I should be able to get a white color. But that is not in the case. When you mix the colors, all the colors get mixed together. So that time you will not get the white. But if you take a sheet of paper, let's say you take a sheet of paper like this and you draw it with 7 different colors like this, like violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red, like that. If you draw, then you keep rotating it very fast, you will see that it will appear as a white. So basically it is an addition of all these color, but only when these are all they are present all one after the another, not mixed together. Okay, so that's the difference. You do not think that mixing all these colors will give you white, but it is give you white only when these colors are arranged in the specific pattern. So when you move it really fast, you will able to see the appearance of white light. So as I mentioned, it is a beautiful example of the dispersion of light, where you can distinguishly see all the 7 colors, all the colors. I hope this chapter has been clear to you, and if you have any doubt, students, you can ask me in your group and in the Zoom meeting also. Thank you.